Tony's Topics. Tony's Topics. Hey folks, what's happening? Welcome to Tony's Topics. So what do I want to talk about today? Let's talk about this weekend in the NBA. This was actually a rather great weekend for sports altogether, but I guess I just got to kick it off first with the NBA. So let's see here. Honestly, there's just really two games that really mattered the most, that really kind of were just big trendsetters. That was the Memphis versus the Spurs and Golden State versus the Bulls. So, okay, let me get into Memphis versus the Spurs. Just when you think Memphis is about to start running stuff this year, the Spurs more or less just put them back in their place. It almost kind of reminded me of the Fast and Furious 1 when Vin Diesel said, "Had me? You never had me. You never had your car." That's the way the Spurs beat Memphis Grizzlies. They just, at some points the lead was like 14 points. The lowest I think the lead ever got to that the Spurs had was 5. But at no point was Memphis ever winning that game. I don't believe Memphis ever had the lead once. And then I looked back, at the stats and stuff, and a lot of those guys really kind of, was it the fact that they were underplayed or they just underperformed? Honestly, I think it was that they just underperformed. Zach Randolph had a bad night. Conley had a bad night. Or not Conley. Conley had a great night. Courtney Lee had a bad night. Tony Allen only got like 4 points. And that's just really not going to cut it against the Spurs. They wanted their bench to come off and do some stuff, but it just didn't look like the bench was bringing it either. And I guess that's one thing you got to notice with a team like the Grizzlies. Every night, and you see this in basketball all the time, some guy, some bench player is just going to have the night of his life. He's just going to be super accurate. Everything he shoots is going to go in. And if the coach is smart, he'll put that guy in for extra minutes than that guy would normally get. Because that night is just that guy's night. He's going to walk away and get like 20 points when normally he'll be good for maybe 8. So you just got to recognize, hey, that guy's going to have a big night. Normally he's a bench player. He might get 8 points or 6 points. But tonight, that guy's going to walk away with like 20 points, So play him. But if you stick to just your regular starters and don't recognize that that guy's blowing up, you're just going to miss out on a lot of good points and possibly lose the game over it. So either way it goes, the Spurs just pretty much put down a thrashing on the Grizzlies and just showed them just how far away the Grizzlies are from really being the creme de la creme. I know the Spurs have like 5 losses earlier in the season, and at first I was beginning to wonder too. I was like, are the Spurs falling off? Or, is it finally coming down? No. They were just warming up. Those were early games. We were just coming out of the first month of the NBA, and those guys were just tuning back up. Now they're starting to look like the Spurs of old. Tim Duncan's back to getting 15 points, 5 rebounds, which is low, but who cares? Tim Duncan's almost been in the league for 20 years. So, Ginobili's back up to getting like 17, almost 20 points a game. Parker's doing his thing, practically getting his 18 points. I think he's getting like 15 points, plenty of assists. And then Kawhi Leonard and blah, 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 it goes on and on and on. We all know this. So, the Spurs are in, watch out, because the Spurs aren't planning on losing easily. That team is just mean like that. So then the second game. Golden State Warriors versus the Bulls. And I was so going for the Bulls in this one. I'm not even going to lie. If I would have called it, I would have called Bulls all day. I was just like, the backcourt on the Bulls. You got Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose. And I'm like, Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose, they should be able to take Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. But then I was like, but the front court is all Bulls. I was like, between Joakim Noah and Pau Gasol, they're going to wreck it. And man, y'all should be happy Taj Gibson doesn't come back and play. Lo and behold, I didn't know Taj Gibson was going to come back and play. What? Okay. So I see Golden State pretty much wreck the Bulls. And some of the things that I'm wondering is, number one, Taj Gibson has the ability to get over 20 points per game, but yet the coach played him like he was a bench player. Like, if you're going to run him in the 3-man rotation, at power forward center with Gasol and whatever his name is, Joakim Noah, then, I can understand that logic. But Taj Gibson is so good. Number one, he needs to start. Number two, the Bulls are suffering at small forward. Dunleavy is good enough to catch some backup minutes. Maybe 24 minutes a night. But honestly, just run Taj Gibson in that place. Taj Gibson is just too good to be on the bench. You're killing yourselves. I don't know what you're doing. You run Taj Gibson. You have Taj Gibson, you run Taj Gibson. The end. He is too good. I think he's, what, is he what, 6'9"? I might have to go back and look at how tall he is. But either way it goes, 6'9", 6'10", whatever. You run Taj Gibson. Okay? That guy is really, really good. So anyway, so I just, hate to see it, but hey, Golden State, I mean, if you're not on the Golden State bandwagon by now, you might want to get on it. Because, I mean, as long as they've got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the backfield, I mean, or in the backcourt, they're pretty much locked up. Now, their other guys can perform, their other guys can have big nights. Harrison Barnes, Spikes, Green, he can have a big night, and Bogut's pretty good for rebounding. But the bottom line is this: Steph Curry will not let that team lose. He is seriously, seriously on the hunt. And Klay Thompson has decided, hey, I can get just as many points as Steph Curry. Now, maybe not assists, but he can get just as many points, if not more. So you've got two dueling backcourt guys who are, and Steph Curry is so, giving with the ball that he can assist. We all know Steph Curry could probably pull 30 points a night if he really wanted to. But that guy is assisting the ball. He is a true point guard. So if you haven't got on the Golden State bandwagon yet, you might want to start betting on them because they're killing folks. And honestly, when they beat a real team like the Bulls, you just got to give credit where credit is due. Now, everybody's waiting for that Spurs game, right? Let's just see how good the kids really are. But, till it happens, that's my time. Tony's Topic.